Hello, WI beginning band. We are on a mission to rock. And in fact, I'm here in Soundtrap getting ready to rock. Now, in our main folder of Soundtrap, you'll see all of your files. Today, we are going to create a new file. So we're going to go to the Enter Studio. Our purpose is to sequence the snare drum and bass drum concert piece for We're on a Mission to Rock. And that is going to be the basis for all of our other wind and brass instruments to play over. The goal in the end is to create the concert piece with you all recording at home or sequencing. I'll show you your choices at the end. And I will compile all of the instruments together, and we will have a full beginning band presentation of We're on a Mission to Rock. So drummers, and anybody can do this because it's really fun to work with Soundtrap. We're going to enter our studio here. It's right there. I hope some of you have checked out some of the podcast abilities and other things that this program gives you, but we're going to go right into music today. And we're working with the Pattern Beatmaker. So we're going to click right on that. And we're going to take a look here at our concert piece. And we're going to notice that there is a form. The form starts with 4 measures. And then it gets to letter A. Now, when I look at letter A has 8 measures. Letter B has 8 measures. And letter C has 8 measures. So I look at the form and I can see we have an intro for 4 measures, then we have an A section for 8, a B section for 8, and the C section for 8. So here we go. We're going to do that famous model of I do, we do, you do, and no do. But the idea is let's start sequencing together, and then I'm going to let you finish, and then you can post your Soundtrap answers to me. And then when we get them together, we will send them out to the rest of the band, and they can record to our sequencing. So here we go. We are going to do the beginning intro. Now, from looking at the page, it says We're on a Mission to Rock. It says Percussion 2, easy snare and bass drum. And we're now down on line 5. There's a nice hard line across that says concert piece. It says right there that the BPM is 88. So let's start with our metronome. And we can click down here on the metronome and the settings part. We've chosen clave, which I like as a high pitch. To the left of it is the BPM. That's what I'm looking for. And we'll just put in 88 and confirm that. I've got my metronome off. I'm going to turn it back on so I know where the beat is. I'm going to go up into my track here. We'll pick drum sounds in a second because we don't have any sound happening. Let's take a look into our loop here, right? So we've got a loop happening here, and right now it is only 1 measure. So we have to go into the instrument side, and we're not going to play with the drums. We can hit them a second. But what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we have 4 measures looped out, which we do. So that's perfect. Our intro is 4 measures. Let's go back into the patterns, and let's just put in the pattern. We're sequencing. We've got 8th notes on beat 1. We've got a snare drum on beat 2. If you don't like the metronome going off, you can, or the pattern actually counting, if you hit the space bar, you can just sequence without it going on. So, pair of 8th notes, quarter note, in the snare, and then we go to the next one, pair of 8th notes and a quarter note, and there we have our first measure. Now we can listen to it. Press the space bar. Okay, so right off the bat, I can get rid of my metronome, and there's my bass. Let's get a different sound here and kind of talk about that again for a quick second. You got 3 different groupings of sounds. You've got your clean sounds here. Kind of like that one. You've got your machines, your artificial intelligence. What's this one? Attitude. Wow, I can feel the air pushing out of my subwoofers. That's awesome. Whoa, this is the greatest beat ever. I can use it as air conditioning. And then you have process, which are basically taking your regular kits here and then adding all sorts of processing. That one sounds horrible. That one's, I mean, it depends on what you're looking for, right? That's cool. So you can hear that one has a lot of gate. I'm going to go back to my kits, and I like the clean. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So I'm going with the clean red. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to press the space bar, easily distracted, and get back to our goal, which is to sequence the first 4 measures of the intro. Now, let's take a look at measures 1, 2, 3, and 4. They are numbered, and lo and behold, they are the same. So watch this move. We go back into our instrument track. Our pattern is now there in beat 1. We can go up to the upper right-hand corner, just like you would in, say, GarageBand, and drag it out. You can see the little drag out symbol. And now we have 4 measures. Let's listen. And make sure we have the loop on, and it will loop. And whoa, look, we've done the introduction. Patterns in music. Now we're using that to our advantage because all we have to do is drag it out. Now let's go into our next section. And if I look there, we've got another what? 12 measures for letter A. Now if I look really closely and I just look at measures 5, 6, 7, and 8, they are exactly the same. Well, let's increase our loop now. We're going to go out another 12 measures. Excuse me, another 8 measures. So 8 and 4 is 12. So through measure 12, again, that's to be clear that this is measure 12. So now we've added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all of section A. And all I have to do is just drag out the pattern. Now, not all 8 of them are the same. In fact, we said the first 4 were, and now on the third line, measures 9, 10, and 11 are also the same, so we can drag out all the way through to measure 12. And there is where we have something different. So we now need to go back and sequence this measure 12 as it is different than the other ones. So I go back into patterns, and I'm going to move my sequencing measure. That's how I like to call it. It's the purple measure. It's got a lock on it, and it tells me I'm sequencing just 1 measure at a time. I imagine I could take that lock off and do more than 1, but right now, let's stay focused. We're going to go to this measure. It's blank, and just put in the sequencing. So here on measure 12 in our paper, we see there are 2 eighth notes on the snare and 2 eighth notes on the kick drum, and there are on beat 2, just the snare drum. On beat 3, we've got the 2 eighths on the kick, and the snare plays a quarter note, and we have a quarter note on beat 4. I think we encountered that rhythm up in our melody. Now let's listen to it. Now, because we're in patterns mode, we're only going to be dealing with the 1 measure that we're sequencing. If we go back into instrument mode and we drag this back to the beginning, we now have our introduction, the first 4 measures. And now we're at letter A. Measure 6. Now I have it looped. So it would go back and play letter A again. Let's take a look at this. Let's hear it out. Here we go, measure 12. Cool. Spacebar stop. Now let's take a look at letter B. And this is measures 13 through 20. And I'm just looking at them, and right off the bat, I notice that it is exactly the same as letter A. So we're already in our instrument panel, so we can stretch this guy out. Our loop to include another 8 measures. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I can count. So, again, through measure 20. We now need this beat to go here. So watch what we're going to do. If we come over here, we're going to want to take only, not the first 4 measures, because that's the introduction, but we're going to start here on measure 5 and take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, which corresponds right to the sheet as letter A, and we're going to plop that over here. Now, this is all connected, so we need to cut this here. So let's take a look at how we do that. I think the first thing I would do is right-click on it and see what I can do. Right-click helps nothing. Here we go. Split region. That was easy. It also shows you Command E. So right-click is always your friend. If you have an Apple, it's just 2 fingers on the pad. It gives you all of the commands that are available for that region. So here we split the region, and now what I can do is I can take this here and copy it. Again, I'm going to hit the 2 fingers on here for the right click, copy it, move the cursor to where I want it, and then I'm going to press paste. And boom. It happens so fast. It's kind of like, what's a superhero? Not the Silver Surfer, the other guy. He's silver. He moves really quick. From the X-Men. Anyways, I'll think of it in a second. I'm staying focused. So now, take a look at what we got. We've got, from the beginning, the introduction, 4 measures. We've got letter A, and now we have letter B. Starting here. And we can go back to the beginning and listen to it. If we want to loop it, we can, but really, the loop function is just there to help you but in the end, we're going to take it off because we're just doing the concert piece from the beginning to the end. So now we're at letter C, and there are some differences in letter C and some similarities. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here. Since I did it, then we kind of did it. Now you're going to do letter C. And I'll give you a hint. Letter C is measures 21 through 28 on your music, and it corresponds to 21 through 28. So I'm going to save this here, first thing. Saving project, done. And now I'm going to share it with you guys. Make sure that you complete the sequencing for letter C. When you receive this, you'll have the intro A and B already done for you. When you save it, share it back with me, nspitzer at TUFSD, and I can check your work and help you on it. Again, I'm not about grades. I think you all know that. I'm not about the deadlines. I want you all to be working and enjoying yourself. Have fun with this one, and let me know if you have any questions.